What's going on, guys? November 18th. Just got done at the gym. We're going to talk a little bit today about powerlifting federations and how to know which powerlifting federation might be right for you.
Right. And it's going to be our opinion, obviously. We're going to give you the knowledge that we have and what we think, depending on the style of lifting that you do and which federation to choose from.
Right. There's quite a few federations as powerlifting has been popular actually for a long time, and it's getting more popular. You have probably the premier federation for Raw, which would be USAPL, and then you have the USPA, you have SPF, APF, and WMPF. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, there's newer federations popping up, day by day.
We would say that the majority of people lift in either USAPL or USPA, and the biggest difference, obviously, is drug-free or not tested.
So basically, if you're 100% natty, you're gonna want to compete in USAPL.
Right. USPA also obviously does raw and equipped lifting, and equipped lifting is a huge part still of powerlifting. We feel like maybe the trend of powerlifting is leaning towards more raw now.
Definitely.
In the past
10 years.
Yeah, 5-10 years for sure. In the past, it was all equipped. That was
you were in wraps, you were in single, double, triple ply.
Right.
You were in a suit every lift. So that's kind of dying out, and in my opinion, that's a good thing.
Right. So moving forward, if you lift in wraps or if you prefer knee wraps, USPA might be a great choice for you. And then there's obviously, like we said before, there's several tiers under. You might be able to find a local meet. We found our first meet that we did, our only meet that we did, was WMPF, and they had a wrapped division, and it was a very
it's a smaller federation.
Small fed.
It was handled well. Basically, you're just gonna want to find, in my opinion, if this is your first meet, or if you're looking to, if you're on this video and you're looking for information about your first meet, just go local. Whatever's closest to you, whatever's cheapest. Unless you're a beast, you're a savage, and you're ready to compete with the big boys.
Right.
Then there's no reason to go all out.
The majority of all the federations seem like they've been handled pretty well. We've had the privilege to go to USAPL Raw Nationals and several other USAPL meets held in Florida here. We've seen a couple of USPA meets, and they've all been handled fairly well, we would say.
We will say that we have a little bit of a biased opinion towards the USAPL. Again,
right.
we are natural, we're 100% natural, and we lift in sleeves. And everybody that we kind of look up to, or that we, follow on Instagram and everything like that, they're USAPL lifters. That
right.
does not mean just because they are drug tested and everything that they're 100% natural.
Oh, no.
I understand that. He understands that. Everybody should be aware that there are ways to get around drug tested or drug testing. But I think that, in our opinion, USAPL, the meets themselves were handled extremely well.
Right.
I mean, first class, everything. We competed in WMPF. It was handled very well, but definitely a few tiers under how the USAPL is ran.
Right, and that might be perfectly fine too for your first meet,
right.
To get experience, or if that's what you like.
And strictness. There's a lot of different rules in USAPL compared to these other federations. If you bench with your head, you can't have your head come off the bench. You can't have your butt or hamstrings come off the bench, or your butt come off the bench, or your feet have to be planted. There's a lot of different things. So you have to look into that. You have to look into the rules. It can get tedious. It can get kind of overwhelming.
Right. And just because the rules might be stricter, or obviously the allowance for an equipped division, none of that really makes that federation superior or better than the other. It all comes down to your personal preference and what you intend on, why you intend on competing, and what you intend on doing with your training. So our intentions are, we want to move forward with primarily just USAPL meets. Over the past couple of years, we've noticed a trend that at least 4 or 5 USAPL meets are being held in Florida. So
it's growing.
We would definitely like to compete. March is looking like that's going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to it, just because, again, that's just how we train. And, you know, we train with a power bar. If you train with a deadlift bar, don't compete. And you don't want to compete without a deadlift bar, you don't compete in USAPL.
And there's just a lot of pros and cons that you have to weigh. You know, you have different weight classes as well. Right. USAPL, since they're in the IPF, they've adopted their weight classes. So you have, you know, that 5 pounds or so that's a difference might be a difference maker for you. Also, the 24-hour versus 2-hour weigh-in, you know, that could be a huge factor. And the fact is that even though the USAPL is a great and big federation, they don't run as many meets as USPA. So if in your area the USPA is running 6 to 10 meets a year, you don't have to travel. And
everybody has different schedules, so you know, you just got to cater to you specifically. And then there's also a kind of a stigma around USAPL and USAPL lifters about the whole elitist thing.
Right.
You know, they think that they're better than everybody because they are stricter, or they don't compete in with gear, figuratively, and like steroids as well. So if you think that that's true, that bothers you, then you know, go to USPA. I think USPA would be my second choice if I was not planning on competing in USAPL, just for the fact that there's a ton of them all around, and they seem to be ran very well, and there's a deadlift bar, so that's always kind of fun. So yeah, I think that's our take on the whole federation thing. If you have any questions, just leave a comment below. Unfortunately, it can get kind of detailed, and
but it's on you, and
just do your research.
That's it. And yeah, the information's out there. You know, we're definitely not the first and the last people to put out a video about powerlifting federations.
All right.
So just look into what's best for you.
All right. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.